During the height of the real estate boom, I owned a mortgage company. It was called Harbinger Mortgage, and it was the first time that I was in charge of everything. And it was awesome, and it was scary as hell. We rode the crest of the wave, and we got crushed underneath it as the real estate market changed. We didn't adapt, and ultimately we died. And almost everything I learned about remarkable leadership comes from lessons that I learned through personal pain and suffering and failure with Harbinger. So when I'm talking with leaders today who are frustrated and stressed out and pissed off by the results they're getting from their team, they're not sure what to do, I totally get it. I relate with that. And now I know how to solve it. So the first thing I tell leaders who are frustrated and stressed out is that, listen, everything is a leadership issue. Everything. Everything is a leadership issue. And that is a bad news, good news sort of statement, right? Because the bad news is if everything is a leadership issue and you're the leader, then if your team's unhappy and they're underperforming, if you've got turnover and you're losing good people, if you can't recruit good people, it's your fault, right? Because your leadership led it to this point. So that's the bad news. The good news is because it's a leadership issue, you can solve it. You have the power to fix it as long as you focus on the right things. Leaders often fail because they're not. They're focused on the wrong things, and they're putting out fires every day, and they're responding to problems and reacting all the time. And at the end of the day, they're like frazzled and they're not even sure what they got done, but they know they were busy all day long. Okay, if you are a reactive leader, your team is missing 3 vital things that only a leader can provide that will solve the vast majority of the problems you face and will get rid of the drama you've got going on and will help your team get better results. So those 3 things are they need clarity, they need strategy, and they need accountability. So clarity, strategy, and accountability, I call those the holy trinity of leadership. Now, clarity. A team that has clarity understands 2 things. They understand the vision, which is the big picture, and then they understand expectations, which are the small picture. So let's start with vision. Vision is the purpose, right? Vision is what the team does and why that's important. Vision is the purpose. Vision motivates your people, and it gives them something to aspire to, and a great vision also gives them something to be proud of. It gives the team direction. It's like a lighthouse that points the way. Okay, so if that's the grand scale of vision, then the small picture is expectations. Okay, so every member of your team has to understand how they fit into the vision. They have to know how their role fits into the vision and what's expected of them in their role. They've got to know that. They have to know what success looks like in their role for them. They have to know what failure looks like. They have to know what you expect. So that's clarity. Big picture, vision, small picture, expectations. Vital. Because if your team doesn't have clarity, they're screwed when it comes to the next piece of the leadership trinity, which is strategy. Okay, they're screwed because unless they know the destination, which is what vision provides, then a strategy or a map, a roadmap to get there, it doesn't matter, right? Because they don't know where they're going. So strategy is the roadmap that helps your team achieve the vision and achieve expectations. And most organizations suffer from something I call the strategy gap. Okay, they have an idea, so there's a new concept. Typically comes up with, the boss comes up with it. So there's a new idea that happens in the company, and then there's a team that's formed, and they rush out to go implement. And the idea, it doesn't go so well. It doesn't achieve expected results, so they throw up their hands and they go back into a meeting and they say, look, the idea sucked. We need a new idea. And so the team brainstorms again, and another great idea comes up, and they go out and implement, and it doesn't work. And so they're in this concept implementation loop, I call it. Well, what they're missing isn't a good idea. What they're missing is a deliberate strategy to go out and implement the idea effectively. And as a leader, you have to make sure everybody on your team has a strategy that's going to work. Whether they're the receptionist, whether they're in sales, whether they're a manager for you, they need a roadmap to achieve goals and achieve expectations. And you've got to make sure they have it. A simple way to find out if they have a strategy is ask, hey, what's your strategy? How are you going to do this? How are you going to hit your number? How are you going to achieve your goals? How are you going to deliver great customer service? And if they can't tell you how they're going to do it, then they don't know how they're going to do it. and they're just going through the motions and they need a strategy. So check in with them. Make sure they have a strategy. Okay, so if your team has clarity and they have strategy, what's missing is accountability. Most leaders suck at accountability. They treat it as the A word, right? It's this negative consequence that happens when someone screws up, is how a lot of organizations think of accountability. That's wrong. If you or your team think of accountability in a negative way, then you're missing the point, and honestly, you're missing the power of it. I define accountability as the consistent, frequent feedback that somebody needs in order to achieve their goals. And here's how it works. The best leaders meet with every single one of their direct reports every week or every other week. And in those meetings, you're checking up on the progress and the actions that that person was supposed to have taken between last meeting and this meeting. So every meeting they say, these are the things I need to accomplish next or I need to do. And at the next meeting, they come back and report. Here's how it went. And you ask questions. You help them figure out if it went well, if they achieved everything, you celebrate. And you help them figure out what the next steps are. If things didn't go well and they failed or they're struggling, you ask questions to help them figure out what's wrong with their strategy, how to fix it, and how to go do it so that it works next time. That's what accountability is. It's the frequent feedback that's going to help your team achieve their goals. And if you're missing it, you're missing the boat. So, clarity, strategy, and accountability, the holy trinity of leadership. And everything is a leadership issue. This is Jeremiah Miller with Forging Leaders.